Now, today on CBS, we have a show called Mission Unstoppable. And today it covered how to determine if someone is forging, right, a document for you. Mm-hmm. Or not, right? So, one of the ways is you look at the difference in the penmanship itself, right? Because, see, everyone writes a little different than someone else, and you don't exactly write the same, even when you yourself are writing. Now, like I'm telling you, all my correspondence with Sheena Johnson were handwritten letters, right? I'm trying to determine, though, did the shipmates try to, without my knowledge, trick me, right? By knowing that themselves and typing up letters to Miss Johnson and making Miss Johnson think I wanted to break up with her when I did not, right? I don't know. That is a possibility, remembering how the relationship went up until a certain time when she quit writing me herself, which is about 3 or 4 letters from her as well into the relationship, right? See, I wasn't just writing her from the start, she was writing me too and telling me more about herself as well. I know. Now, the reason it's so confusing is if the shipmates are doing this, A, they don't know how well I type unless they try to code red me, which means I'm doing something right? I'm supposed to be doing, right? Like, say, I fell asleep. Mm-hmm. But during that time, right, say an hour or so, I'm woken up suddenly, right? And we're talking about this subject matter, right? Forensic, you know, science and how to determine if someone is forging your letters or letters to someone, right? Well, one way is to type up the letters and simply sign it at the bottom, and then it's harder to tell who even wrote the letters, right? Now, obviously, the typewriter is on the ship to do this particular thing, so it would always be tied to the side pen. The question is, did I use it or not? Well, the only way to would be to determine that is fingerprints, right? Are my fingerprints, like with the bus, like I told you before, on the work card itself, right? Or on the handle of the on and off switch, right? That would determine if I even turned it on or off, or it was never turned off and King touched it before it was even turned off, right? Dude. If there are no fingerprints, there's no proof I did anything wrong, right? If I didn't touch it because I was told not to touch anything but observe only, right, by Lieutenant Guzman, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but who didn't? King, right? He jumped ahead. Why? Because I looked like his friend who was working with. Which means they might have been taking a few shortcuts, because even then, right, 2 people don't normally do the job. One person normally does, right? Unless it's something where the lieutenant is wanting to show everybody in the division how to do that one particular job, and then he's going to have certain people that actually do the job who are supposed to be trained in it, right, and know what to do with it, right, versus those who are unlearned like me, where I observe only, don't touch a damn thing, right? I even know what that means, right? Now, All right, yesterday, me and Miss Thompson went into Savannah, right? And first we went to the Publix, then we went to Kohl's, then we went to Macy's, though, right? And she disappeared, right? I mean, from the first part of the mall, mainly, right? Now, there's two places, right? I know she might could be, right? But, right. I'm also paging her in Macy's, right? Different things, trying to talk to the salesperson to see if they saw her, right? And one of them I remember from being in there before, and I thought she was cute the whole time, right? And again, I also ate something myself earlier, right? But I know from the last place we were at, which was Kohl's, that we left Kohl's a little bit before 2:30, right? Which means we got to Macy's, right? Around a certain time. I don't know, say 2:30, 2:35 to more than that, right? Because you gotta drive from Kohl's, which was, there's two Kohl's. There's one in the mall, and then one in the Best Buy shopping center as well. Which one's more of a independent store and kind of bigger, right? And one's just a little offshoot in the mall. Now, so when we left Kohl's, it was around 2:26, right? So then you have to wait for the red light to turn. Then you have to cross the street carefully and watch traffic, make sure you make it all the way across. Then you can either, again, since we're going to Macy's, go down White Bluff a little bit, right? Turn left, right? You're at the mall. Drive down to the mid entrance point, right? Or the last entrance point, depending on how you look at it, right? Go down that area where the library is, right? Drive down that road till you get to Macy's, take the left, and drop her off in front of Macy's, right? Then, of course, if you're going to eat in the food court, you got to find a parking space for yourself. And the closest one was somewhere near the old Sears, but that's not too far of a walk, so you might park there, right? So you park there. So then you park there, you go in, you place your order, right? And then you pay for the food with the 20 she gave you, right? Then, you eat the food, right? Slow or fast, right? When you're almost done, you get a refill of your drink, right? Then before you leave, you get Stone Cold Creamery and get the butter pecan, right? And put pecans in it, right? And then you go out and try to eat the ice cream before it melts. So if it starts melting before you get to the car, problem is what? Right, it's going to start leaking on the cup, and then you got to do this, that, the other, blah, 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 right? All right. So then you got to find a parking place, right? The park near the Macy's, because that's where she's supposed to be when you go to pick her up, right? So then you say, well, it's such and such o'clock, right? It's before 4, right? But not quite 4 yet. So I'm going to sit here and finish my drink, right? Until it's gone, right? Waiting for her to show up at any time, right? Then, of course, I know, once it hits 4, you're going to go in and say, well, it's been a while, right? It's been over an hour and a half, right? Where is she at? And she talked about getting 2 hot dogs. Well, the food court does have 2 hot dogs, but you also know it don't take that long to walk there and get 2 hot dogs and come back, right? And it's been over an hour and a half already, right? So then where else could she be, Belle? I mean, right? So you wait again. We're going from 4 to 5, right? Then 5 to 6, right? And then 6 to 7 before I leave. That's how many hours, right? From 2:30, right? Over 4, and she's gone, right? You can't find her anywhere, right? And you ain't left the area, right? And you're just sitting there either in the Macy's, or if you do go into the mall, you sit at certain positions, right? Where you would be able to see her passing by or something too, right? Because she's supposed to be disabled. She's supposed to be there to get something from Macy's herself. And she didn't say she would be going through the whole mall, but you do know enough about the mall that if she did so, you would see her at some point, as long as you're not walking too fast, because she supposedly suffered a stroke, and you were told that about it too, and you don't know why she would be messing with people about that either. But of course, you believe that story, right? But you also pray for her to get better or whatever, and stuff like that too, right? So then it's after 7, and you got to get home yourself, right? After 4 hours or more of waiting, let's call that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 hours of waiting for her. You finally decide to stop to go home. It's time to go home, right? And you get home a little after before 8, right? You call your mom, right? Her son ain't there, so either he went to go pick her up because he knows what happened, right? But you don't, right? And again, right? You put her stuff on her chair in her porch area, right? Her rocking chair. You put her soda behind the rocking chair so don't spill over anything, right? Then you call your mom, right, and let her know, hey, Mom, I had a weird day with Sarah today. I brought her to the mall, waited over 5 hours, and you just disappeared on me, right? And no one in the mall could find her, not even security, right? And that's the problem, right? Now, after 5 hours, you messing with me. And that ain't nice. That ain't nice. Nor are you walking normal paths where I can find you, right? Even if you were to go to the food court, I still should have seen you come back to the Macy's, right? And everywhere I went, I would have seen you, even if you went to Belts, right? Or somewhere like that, within the proximity of the time. Again, unless women are seducing me, or I think I'm seducing them and want to have sex with me again. I don't know, I had sex with them the first time, but I'm letting it go, right? Whether I did or not, right? But not trying to make it a big deal, But do want a girlfriend, right? And don't mind premarital sex, because I'm the kind trying to find a way to legally marry you, but that means you got to set that up with me to arrange the marriage, right? See, the female does usually, right? At least, even if it's at the justice does the peace, like with me and Daphne, we went to the courthouse together to get married, right? And even though we didn't have a witness or anything, we did have someone to witness for us who worked for the judge, right? And signed the marriage certificate as a witness. And we got married. Now that's the legal part of that, right? The sex part can happen before or after the marriage, right? But here's the problem if you're blocking me out, right? I don't know I had sex with anyone, right? Now I know I'll be interested in the Asian girls, right? An African girl, or if she's a mixed African girl and looks like the girl of my dream, right? Like I said, right? Even if you don't and you're interested. See, that's what I'm trying to find. An interested female, right? To be with me, right? Now, all males are not afraid to have premarital sex with female either, right? We know that. That's why some women know to say don't hit me lines to keep your hands to yourself, right? Well, that's where I'm worried about Sheena do. What did she think? Um, did she mean that she wanted to wait for marriage and just didn't tell me? Right? Which I would have understood that too and wanted only oral sex when I went all the way with her. But you tell someone that before that you even let them take down your panties. Because, see, it's not as though I did oral sex on a female and didn't get sex myself a couple times, right? Growing up, right? And it didn't bother me either, ladies, right? By the way. But I usually know I did that with the lady, right? And I know, right? We did something, right? If I'm blacking out over that, right? And from 4 to 5 is the next blackout part, right? Then from 5 to 6, right? Because the time seems to go by quicker than it should. And then 6 to 7, right? Now, certain people stick out, right? Right. Okay, so I'm sitting, right, first in the food court, right, after I park, right, and I go to the Cajun Cafe and get macaroni and cheese, rice, fried rice, and the bourbon chicken, which is my meal. So I slowly eat that, right, and there's 3 attractive women, right, at the um, cafe to begin with, and they're but all 3 Asian, right? So in a way, I'm interested in all 3, right? But there's also this fine African mixed woman who comes up later on, right? As I'm placing my order, and I notice her too, but I don't say nothing, right? So then I go and sit down and start eating my food, right? Right. So yeah, now we're talking about if I'm blacking out or not too, right? Now, would I want to, if I'm a normal heterosexual male, have sex with all 4 women? Yeah, yeah. But then there's other people who show up, right, to eat too, right? And sit in my area. One guy's an African American and one guy's a white guy. Right. So again, I'm sitting there eating the food, right? And that's all I remember really doing is eating the food, right? Then I go to Stone Cold Creamery after I get my refill. And again, right, almost done with the food, finish the food and put it in the garbage and go out, right? Then as I go out, and I get the ice cream, which is under $5, right? So I get that, right? And I got a 20, right? So I got 10 in my wallet now, right? So again, right, there we are, right? Then as I go out, I try to eat the ice cream, but it seems to be melting quickly, but I'm just eating it, right? Because we know it's a legitimate ice cream, right? So I'm eating it as fast as I can so it don't melt, but it starts melting real quick because it's over 90 degrees in the hot sun, right? So I can't get into the car because it starts melting, right? So then as it starts melting, I try to eat it before it fully melts, and I finished ice cream, right? So then I gotta, feed off the cup and put it in the car, right? So I do all that, right? Which shouldn't take too long, right? Either way. All right. So then I get into the car, right, and start it, and I know I need to go where Macy's, right? Now it ain't even been an hour yet, but should it have been an hour to do all that? No, as well. It shouldn't take long to eat all that, less than 30 minutes, because usually that's the point, right? Now, there's only one place, though, you can be with someone, and that's if they have a private area they know of, right? Or you go into the bathroom or some area where they cannot, or they want to help you go to the bathroom, right? Because you're disabled, right? So if they're doing that, right, there's three ways I can show you the disability. One, if you're a guy, I can just show you hip to hip, right? If you're a female, I can show you completely naked, but only a female, and uh, those are the two normal ways you can show someone, right? So that's what I mean, right? Now, after that, you are then knowing you need to go somewhere, right? And again, right, as you're going, this dude in this ugly red van flies by you, stops for a second as if you almost hit him, but you know you didn't because you stopped, right? And you're not going that fast anyway, right? But then for a second he stops and then he keeps on going, right? Then this lady across parked in the handicapped parking space, right? Across from where you finally park, right? While waiting for your friend, right? Uh, calls the police, right? Because I don't know why, right? But the police come over there, they take her statement as she's arguing with them, right? Or telling them what happened, right? Then after that, the guy next to her pulls out, so you go back over there, you park there, and you're then still waiting for your friend, right? Who you dropped off. And by now, it's almost 4 o'clock, which is over an hour and a half later, right? And you ain't seen hide or hair of her, right? So then you wait from what to what point? Another 30 minutes, right? Now, if she don't show up another 30 minutes, that's 2 hours, right? She's been at the store now, right? And that's what you do normally, right? You wait for so long in the car because that's going to exhaust your air, for example, right? So it's already been an hour, right? These things have happened during that hour, right? Then you wait till 4, and then you say, well, I'm going to go in at 4 if you don't show up soon, right? You go in at 4, and you sit, or you look around the store a little bit, but you don't go too far, right? You know where, you know, someone would normally be, right? Then you got to go to the bathroom, things like that during all that time, too, and you do what all you're supposed to do, and you stay in a certain location, too. Say there's a chair you can sit in, so you sit in the chair waiting for the woman to show up, right? Now, that don't mean you're not going to see attractive women you're attracted to with someone or not, but you don't know the contact she's with someone with, right? And again, right, he can be happy in the relationship, but she don't want to be in a relationship anymore, or vice versa, right? You don't know nothing about it, right? And again, right, you're still just primarily waiting for your friend. So you might do chair exercises like kick your feet around, something like that, until, again, your friend shows up. And then you're supposed to take her home, right? Right? But then it turns to over 7 hours, 5 hours later almost, right? Or 4.5. And you ain't see hide nor hair. So then you page the store twice or 3 times. I don't remember, right? It's either 2 or 3 times, though, right? So you ask the different people in different department stores have they seen her, right? Even going up to the second floor, and no one's seen her, right? She's completely disappeared on you, right? Not you abandoning her either. And until again, it's so that you gotta go home, right? Though it's still 4.5 hours later, right? And you're hurting the whole time, right? In the back and ankle area, and you're not doing anything that would normally strain you, right? Either, though you're mildly exercising, mildly doing this, mildly doing that, right? Exactly, right? That's my day, right? Too. And all I can tell you about it, right? Now, of course, there's things I'm trying to teach you, which, like I said, copyright law has something called fair use, FBI. You can't do that with something that is teachable, like music, and say we can't teach a song, right? Or simply sing a song, because the educational part of a musical piece is to teach people how to what? Sing the song. Or play it with an instrument, right? If you can't sing the song, you can teach people to play it with an instrument, right? Now, what you're not supposed to do is fake it to make it for real, right? Then you're not really a professional, you're a fraud, right? There's a difference there too, right? See, the thing is, your sales are really marginal, right? At best, right? I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not as great as they could be either. It almost seems like it's kind of a scheme, right? Like I reported a while back, Mariah Carey on one of her new releases, yes, she sold 500,000 copies, but, right, that's still a low number, right? Right. In actual record sales, right? Compared to the whole population, right? Which, if it's over 290 million, that ain't even a drop in the bucket, right? That ain't even 1% of that, by the way. Nope. And, it's really less than 1% of that, right? Because we're talking 290 million, which that would be over 290,000 even, right? And, or somewhere around that number, right, to begin with, right? For it to even be 1% of that population, right? In record sales, right? So if we got 290 million, right, and 1% of that, right, is say 290,000, right? Right. And 10% is 290 million, one M, and then so on and so forth until you get the full amount, which is 290 million, right? Which is 100% of the population buying the CD, right? Now, if she sold under 500,000, right, her total record sale is under 2%, right? In record sales, right? Compared to the population that can buy it, right? Now, it's like the people, again, who are affected by COVID, right? The numbers are really low compared to the total population. And it seems like you're blowing it all out of proportion, though we should treat it right for those who are affected by it, right? And vaccines and things like that help with dealing with that, right? Because it could be a man made virus. And if man made it, God would understand why you might need a vaccine to fight a man made thing, right? Even if God could heal it, right? Not saying it can't, right? But since it's a man made thing, right? And man can make a vaccine for it, right? To fight it off, right? It would be okay to take the vaccine with God too, right? Or if you feel it can heal you, that's up to you too. That's a matter of faith, though, right? You got to be specific, though, in what you say, right? I believe God can heal COVID-19 even if I get it and I won't die for it at least, right? Though even if I get some of the symptoms, I won't die from it at least, right? And that's all you can say, right? For instance, all right, even with congestive heart failure, right, I can have coughs, right, and maybe a little headache, right? But if I don't have a fever at all the whole time, right, I don't even have COVID, right? Because what I have could be related to my heart problem, right? Not so much as COVID-19 itself, right? But I also speak positive about the heart problem, right? That way, again, I'm positive and not negative. Another thing is someone don't see my hairline, right? Where it would really be. So I'm pointing it out to them this way, where, well, the hair seems to go up to here, right? To a point, right? Actually, it's lower in certain parts, right? Of a natural hairline should be, right? It's not higher. It's not receding, right? So I'm determining, well, where will my hairline actually be, right? Actually, this side goes up to here. This side goes up to here, right? So it should be up here anyway, right? So really, it's lower. It's not receding, it's going down, not up, right? Which means you would also start seeing more skin, right? Which again, real hair, you can pull on and it won't come out, right? For example, right? No matter how hard you pull it. You can even pull your hand, right? And it won't come out. Now, I know some of you, though, with all due respect, are dealing with what's called male pattern baldness, right? And if you got it, it's not nothing you can do about it. And it's not a good thing or a bad thing, right? Now, I don't know if you can change that by calling on God and Jesus, but you can't change it by just taking thought, right, about it, according to Jesus himself, right? You, by taking thought, can't change your hair from white to brown. But you can also notice if your hair starts turning a certain color, like from brown to white, right? Mine hasn't, even though I'm in my 50s. But I also have an aunt, by the way, who also, according to my mom, now I don't know if it's true or not, right? I ain't met the woman, I don't know her name, right? Who also didn't. In her 60s or even 70s, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know if mom sees her anymore, or if she died or whatever, right? With black hair, right? But she had black hair for a long time, right? Unusually long. over 60 years old, right? And I don't know if it ever went like, I don't know. But again, right, that's what I heard, right, through the grapevine. So I asked God, right, or declare my hair to be brown still, right, every day. It's still brown, right? Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. Right? Who's the word of God? You. If you're so concerned with a man-made virus called COVID, why do you say it's killing so many people even though it is, right? And say we can't really do nothing about it but do the vaccine, right? Well, that's why the people who are dying from it die from it, right? They were not told, I know. And when they got the virus, it killed them, right? Maybe even suddenly, right? Because it scared them to death, right? That scare everybody to death, why don't you, right? You can do that, you know. If the power of life and death is in the tongue, according to the Bible, you're preaching for COVID to kill people. Mm-hmm. You're wanting it to kill people and not for people to survive it, right? If you say that would be the result of getting COVID, right? On the other hand, say, well, I'm social distancing, right? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to not get the virus. So there's no reason I should even have the virus, right? And I should be fine, right? Even if I'm having sex with women, right? Who might have the virus, right? I don't recall that part, right? Again, right? I do require what I mainly remember, right, is eating food, right? But if you see me and this girl go to the bathroom, even if we do have sex in the bathroom or we pretend to, I don't know what we did in the bathroom now, right? Whether we did something or not in the bathroom becomes irrelevant, don't it, right? You just believe we did something. So there you go. Bye.